Years ago, I used to struggle to charge $1,000. I wanted to jump on and share this because I just reminded myself of a story that I really, really want to share with you. And this video is for you if you're currently underpriced or don't know if you're underpriced. This video is for you if you have free clients, if you have issues getting people results, if you have issues getting people to do the things you want them to do, but mainly if you're the kind of person that doesn't know how to put value, quantifiable value on their services. Specifically, if the work you do gives airy fairy results. And I would love to say that in the most kind way possible. So let me read my notes before I really start mumbling, because I like to do that a lot. If your promise is peace, joy, love, fulfillment, this kind of result. More peace, more love, more fulfillment, more joy. These results are not in themselves bad, but people don't know what that means. People don't know like what that equates to. So I was talking about a time when I was really struggling, 2020. I've been coaching for now, coming to 5 years. And I didn't go to coaching school. I didn't get qualified. Coaching, consulting, mentoring, didn't even know the difference. Mainly because I didn't have an idea what they were and if I needed to certify or not. I really didn't know. All I knew is that I wanted to share what I had learned with whoever needed it. And so when I started online as a coach, I struggled so much to charge because I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what value I brought to the table. I didn't know what value it was to the other person. But as I coached people and coached people and coached people, I began to really see my value. One of my clients, when we started coaching together, she had nothing, no audience, no offer, no nothing. And I recall when I worked with her, not only did she get 6 figures to her name, she bought a new house, took her mom on a serious vacation, brought some apartments for rent, had more fun, was more confident, and shifted everything around her, including contributing to charities and giving to people that she felt she wanted to give to. And so what I'm trying to explain here is that I didn't really understand, one, what value my services did give my clients, but two, I didn't really understand what my value was. And so the problem with that is I struggled to charge. My first sales call, I had written content on Facebook for 9 months. I recall that day perfectly. And my mom was on her deathbed with COVID. 9 months. Online, I had learned from everybody that I knew. Cardo knew, Pete Vargas, I don't know, Tony Robbins, every event I went. Everything. Pedro Adele. I went to every event that was teaching how to market and sell. But I didn't know. Like I didn't know how to charge anything above $1,000. Partly because I used to convert everything into Ugandan shillings before I charged. And so $1,000 is like 3.8 million. And I used to ask myself, like, how can I possibly charge $1,000 for like just, I don't know, something that is not even tangible? I used to really struggle to charge $1,000. Can't even begin to explain to you. The problem with that is one, I gave all my services for free. I spent all my life in the Zoom room. And if I charged $100 or $200 or $300. Like I didn't know how to say, look someone in the face and say, my one-on-one is 20 grand. What began to happen for me is I struggled to the dot. I got clients that were not paying. I exhausted myself. I burnt myself out. And one day I sat in a Zoom room with someone out of FET. My mom was on her deathbed, literally. COVID had hit. Now, my mom has diabetes, she has high blood pressure, she has a few other things going. And at 65, she really doesn't do much right now because she's been on meds for the last 20 years. Now, when my brother called me and told me that my mom was COVID positive, my world crumbled down. It really came down crumbling. I had been online for 9 months and I had nothing to show for it. Like I had no money to contribute to this. And my brother called and said, hey, everyone, we need money ASAP. Everybody look for $2,000. Otherwise, you can say goodbye to mom right now. The hospitals were full. And so what happened for mom is she couldn't get a space. And they said she is such a red case that with the numbers that were in the hospital, they had no idea if she would even make it. Lucky for her, she gave birth to a doctor. And so my brother drives home and says, I'm going to take care of mom. He calls us and says, guys, we really have to create an ICU in this house right now. Send money. I wanted the world to open up and swallow me because for 9 months, I had been online, inspiring people, motivating people, and I didn't know how to charge for those services. If someone asked me how much I charged, I would like open my mouth and what would come out would be like 50 or 100 or like I was just scared. I used to think people don't have money and I used to think that if I charged, it would be a ripoff. And so I just didn't do it. And now they call me and say, mom is gonna die if you don't do anything. And I'm like, okay, this is now bad. My mom is one of the reasons why I do what I do. Really, my North Star is that one day I can get her off meds, completely healed, back to life, back to really doing the things that she wanted to do before she started these meds. And so that hit me hard and I didn't know what to do. I went on Facebook and I started to think, how can I get someone to give me $2,000? How many people will I need to make $2,000? The fee that my head could comprehend at that point was like 200. And I said, okay, I need to get 10 clients to save my mom. The problem is I had one day to do it and I didn't know what to pull off to make $2,000. And so I opened my mouth and I said, God, I need $2,000 and I did not know how, but make it happen. I went on Facebook, like I've always trusted in intuition. I've always trusted in God. I've always trusted in kindness. I've always trusted in service. I've always trusted in being a light wherever I go. Like I have always really trusted that there is a higher being that is in control of my life, that I am not here by mistake, that I'm here because I have a purpose, that my life has an assignment on it and I'm here to fulfill it. And that the more that I can be a light in the world, the more that gets to happen. The more I can be in touch with my own inner wisdom, the more I can get that to happen. My relationship with God has always been simple, like simple conversations. Like, God, you can't let mom die. I need $2,000. And I am trusting you to make it happen. By that point, I'd really moved through hoops. I think really like the faith is a muscle. And so sometimes it's the hoops and the hoops and the hoops. And then you slowly but slowly give up the how and just find yourself in complete surrender, which is really a beautiful place to be. But to get there, there's some like muscle that needs to be built. Anyhow, I was like, God, I need $2,000. I have no idea how. I got on Facebook, like I was just being led to check my Facebook page, and I see Facebook showing me someone as like a top fan, top contributor or something like that. I look at these people, there were 3 people, they gave me 1, 2, 3. And I was like, okay, this lady comments on everything I've ever posted. I used to post no CTS, no sales, like I didn't want to be pushy. I still don't like being pushy. I really never wanted to force anyone to buy from me. And a part of me believed that the higher I charge, I would be ripping off people for some really crazy reason. So what happened for me is I went on Facebook and I saw this top fan or top contributor, and I was like, okay, if she's a top contributor, she must love me. She must love what I teach. And I am going to talk to her and kind of see if she can buy anything from me. The figure in my head was between 200 and 500, because when you convert $500 in Ugandan money, that's like 2 million. And I never knew how to ask for 2 million because that's money I worked 30 days to get. And I was like, I don't know. So I went with her in a Zoom room, and somehow when I opened my mouth, what came up was, tell me about your business. And I just had no formula. I had no flame. I didn't know what I was doing. And I've been in programs and they were teaching how to sell, but I just didn't know how to do it. I didn't know how to move from talking to like, this is how much I charge. I struggled so much. Anyway, what came out of my mouth is like, tell me what you do. She told me, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. How is it going? I actually liked the product she was selling. It was like a $5,000 product. I really liked it. I thought it was a nice product. And I was like, how is it going? And then she looked at me and said, not so well. And I was like, why? And she's like, people are not buying. And I'm like, can you try and sell me the product? Because I was really curious, because when she was talking about it and when she sent me the link, I thought it was really a nice product. So when she said people were not buying, I was like, can you show me? She tried to sell to me and I could like see why it wasn't selling. Offline, I had a boutique for 6 years and I really sold expensive things. So I knew how to sell expensively in Ugandan money. But in Ugandan money, $2,000 is 8 million. So I didn't have anything I sold for 8 million. My most expensive thing was like a suit, maybe at 3.8 million, that's 1,000. And that was a suit, like a suit sometimes with shoes, and like this was like high-end fabric, the most expensive thing. 5 million was probably the most expensive thing I could sell. And that was $1,500. Anyhow, she tried to sell to me, and I could tell why she couldn't sell the product, because she was saying all the wrong things. Like, she didn't understand the messaging of what she was selling. She didn't understand the value of it. She didn't understand which parts of it would be valuable to the person. And so I turned around and I said, hey, can I show you how I would sell your product? And she's like, sure. So what I do is I start to sell her product because I really understood how to unpack a product. I just don't know why I wasn't able to unpack like my coaching or something. But I knew what she was selling because it was physical products. She was a network marketer. And so I really knew how to sell like physical things. I just didn't know how to sell knowledge or coaching or something like that. I tried to sell it to her. She looks at me and says, I want to buy it again. And I'm like, oh, really? She's like, yeah. If you were selling it, I would pay you 5,000. And I'm like, oh, okay. And that hit me like a brick. I was like, oh, okay, okay. And so I stopped sharing the screen and I didn't know what to say. You know, that awkward moment where you want to say, but I sell coaching, but you also don't have a program, and I don't know, you don't know how much you charge, and you don't know what to charge and what to say. And I was like, okay. And I was planning and plotting to open my mouth and kind of say $200, whatever. She asked me, do you offer coaching? I recall there's a training I had taken, and it said, holding a straight face will get you paid more than anything. Holding a straight face and trusting the money is a secret exchange of abundance will pay you more than anything. I look at her and I remember my mom, and I'm like, if I don't step in this moment, my mom is going to die. I look at her and I say, sure. I had no offer. I had no coaching program. I had no vault. I had no idea how to coach someone, but I had helped people, mentored people, really just sat in rooms and listened to people who didn't pay me, or maybe they paid me $50 or something. But like I knew how to hold space. I knew how to be silent. I knew how to listen. And I knew how to let people talk about their frustrations. So I knew how to kind of just sit, hold the space for someone, like, what are they trying to achieve? What is the problem? And really just holding that space for people to talk and listen to themselves. What is not working? And most times when people were talking about their problems, they created their own solutions. But I didn't know what I was doing for half of the time. So I didn't have a program, but people paid me to just sit there and listen. Crazy, right? Anyhow, she asked me, do you offer coaching? And I say, yeah, I do. With a straight face, I didn't wink because I was thinking my mom is going to die. She asked another question, which is, how much do you charge? I had no idea. When I opened my mouth, I didn't know what would come out. But what came out was 2,000. And I kept quiet. And I had every intention to explain and all of the things, but I didn't know what else to add on that. I didn't know what I would give her. I wouldn't know what I would teach her. But in my head, I knew that I know how to sell this product and I will show her. But I was like, 2,000. And I was still thinking in my head, what else do I say? What else do I say? What else do I, racing in my head. And she chopped in and said, do you take PayPal? That's how I got my first client. That client turned into my first 6 figures, and that turned into four times, 3.5, 4 times more, the offer that came out of that. What I wanted to talk to you about today is why really you might not be charging the right amount of money. After that client, there's something else I want to explain to you, which really drives my lesson for this call. After that client, what happened is I created a program with different offers at different prices. I got comfortable asking for money, but I asked for different money for different reasons, for different offers. And I did a lot of done for you because I didn't know how to get people results. So I just did it. I just did it with them, did it for them, and did a lot of work to just get off the ground. And I recall I had 6 clients at that point. People were paying 2,000, others were paying 1,000, others were paying 3K, others were paying lots of different amounts. And I was in the Zoom room like every day. I was spending my life in the Zoom room, answering questions day and night. And I was really exhausted, like roasted to the bed. And I recall fainting in my own house at 3 a.m. on one night. And the next morning, I knew I needed to fix this. I was overworking and undercharging. And I just knew that if this was my program and my life, maybe the job was better. And I recall that day, I looked on the internet and I found this guy called Jacob. And he sold consulting hours at that point. I talked to him and he looked like he knew what he was doing. And I kid you not, that is the day when I saw myself paying $1,000 for 1 hour. Because I had fainted, I didn't know what else was coming. Death, I don't know. But I just wasn't willing to go through the experience again of just collapsing in the middle of nowhere. He gave me the offer. I saw the amount. And at that point, I was like, 1,000 of my life. I swapped the card, 1,000 went. And when that money went, $1,000 for 1 hour, I was certainly ready for bigger things. It's like I had unlocked, like energetically, I had unlocked another level of me. And by the time we sat on the call, I had put together an offer. I had a training about offer creation. I had never used it. And when I paid and I said, I want you to help me work less hours, and this is my goal of what I want to make, but I feel like I'm sleeping in the Zoom room, I feel like people are not doing the work. I feel like no one is getting the results. I feel like everyone is just depending on me to get a result. And I was exhausted and like roasted and underpaid. And I was like, I really just want sanity. And he was like, no problem. Sent me a payment link, I paid. After I paid, I sat down and wrote an offer. And then I went for the call, which was 1 hour for $1,000. Off of that offer, he really changed one main thing, which was at the bottom. And at the bottom were my results, what I had achieved. In that moment, I think I'd achieved like 37,000 total from working with so many people. He lifted that and he put it at the heading, and then he changed a few things like reduce how many hours I worked and structured how many things I did, like took down everything where I did less, but did it in a way that it had an impact. And long story short, that is how I stopped under charging. That offer turned into a 6-figure offer, and then turned around again and made 6 figures, and then did it again. One offer in a PDF. And that is the time when I knew my value. That is the time when I knew what my clients got from me. A result now, and then a result in their lifetime. That's when I really understood it. And so today I really want to talk to you about, if you're selling results like peace, joy, love, fulfillment, and all of this, I want to give you another way you can think about what you really give people. Because with this kind of result, it's not even that you don't know your value. You may know your value, but the person you're selling to may not. Because peace, okay, I really can't put a price to peace. Joy, can you put a price to joy? Like how much? What's the monetary value of joy? Love, what's the monetary value of love? Fulfillment. Like, these are things that probably the person has never experienced. And when you flash them in an offer or in your copy or on this conversation call, what happens is they want them, but maybe this is like $100 to $500 wanting. Does that make sense? Like they want them, but it's not like a 10, 20, 30 grand type of wanting of the thing because of how it's packaged. But imagine if you had to kind of ask them something like, okay, assuming we could get, because they're coming to you because they want peace, or they want love, or they want stability, or they want to be, I don't know. They're coming to you because of X, Y, Z. But what if you could take a step deeper and kind of ask them, so if you had all these things, okay, what then would you be able to do? What would they be able to do if they had more peace, more joy, more love, more stability, more calm, whatever the thing is that you give them? More intimacy with their spouse? Would they get more respect from their family? Would they get a job that pays them 10 times higher? If you could take the time on a free conversation, I really love free conversations. Free conversations are life-altering if you know how to be in a conversation to really help someone. And show them why you being the guide for them is going to be more in their advantage than it is for you. Genuinely sitting on that call and saying, I want to help. And in helping you, I am really in my mind judging and deciding if I want to work with you or not. So what if you ask them a question like, what would having these things actually do for you? More joy, more fulfillment, more happiness. What would it do for them? Would they write the book, that bestseller that they've never written because they're scared? Maybe it won't, I don't know. For whatever reason, they're scared it won't sell or it won't work out, or just like me, they're scared no one will join the group when they open it. That campaign, that launch, that thing they've wanted to do, but they just don't know, maybe it will flop. They'll write the book, they'll launch the offer, they will do the campaign, they will send the emails, Maybe they'll 10x their price from $300 to 3,000 or 30,000, who knows? Move country, meet a new spouse if they were not scared. Maybe they would ask that lady out and they might have the love of their life. What is it that getting these things that you promise them, which look really intangible or airy-fairy, would do for this person? Maybe they'll buy the new home, they'll make enough money to buy the home. Maybe they will buy that ring for their spouse. Maybe they will get a beach house, like we dream of, like beach houses. Like maybe they will like get that beach house, and I don't know. What is it that this, whatever the result will do for them, that now begins to really help them understand what more peace can be equivalent to, what more joy can be equivalent to, what more stability can be equivalent to, what fulfillment will allow them to do, why anger management, like what would anger management allow them to do, what would the intangible allow them to do. And then you flip the coin and go, okay, let's assume you didn't do these things, you didn't get these things that we're here to get. What would you have to lose? Take them there. My wife would leave me. Let them sit with that. Like, okay, just help them understand what's in the gap. Because really, most times people don't buy because they don't see the gap. And so what would happen? My wife would leave me. Okay, I would stay poor and I would live in a poor place. And okay, I would never be a best seller. Okay, I would stay small. I would die best kept secret. Do you see where we're going? I would keep self-sabotaging, so I would never market my products and I would never launch that offer, launch that community, and I would never send those emails because I don't like the spotlight or I don't like being pushy. Or maybe I don't know, I will never increase my price, and so I will not afford the things I want in life. This is not created to inject pain in them. This is really a conversation to help them see what is the gap between where they are and where they're trying to go. And this is done in love, because most people don't hire you because they don't believe in themselves to do the work, or believe you to be their guide, or they don't see the gap as, I don't know, well enough for them to be able to pay you the kind of money that you would love to pay. If you leave it up to them, and no matter how much you may be coming from your soul, you might end up with $100 because they can't afford it. But if you help them expand their possibility, chances are you will expand their resourcefulness, and they will now see why 30 grand is so worth it because of what they will get versus what they will lose. What will happen if you don't do this work? I'll self-sabotage myself out of business, out of my marriage, out of my job. Okay. What else? I'll die in a country I hate. I'll never travel because I won't afford it. Okay. I won't ask that girl out and someone may marry her. Okay. I will not be able to pay for my dream home and my vacations. Okay. I won't be able to pay for the ring for the love of my life. Okay, I won't be able to buy my dream home. Okay, I will struggle to afford things. I will probably be working for a very long time because retirement won't be soon if I don't get the money. Do you guys see? Like, do you see how we can move from $100, maybe 1,000 or 10,000? There's a lot that goes on there in the back. But what if you had a conversation like this, which really goes deeper than I want more peace, more joy, more fulfillment, to like in the practical world, what does this equal to? Can we put a value tangibly in the practical world to the thing that they get? Then we'll begin to see price elasticity. We'll begin to create offers that really inspire people to take, like to pull their sleeves up and do the work. The problem with free clients, and I don't want to go there, is free clients, I don't know. How many things do you have that were free that you don't really open? Not because you're a bad person or you're lazy, but I don't know. It's something that comes with free. Versus, how many things have you paid $1,000 for? Versus, how many things have you paid 10 grand for? Versus more and more money. What happens when you pay more money to something? Your own experience. Like for me, the first experience of paying a lot of money was when I paid a program 20,000 and I didn't have the money. My first very program was with Pete Vargas. It was 20,000 and I had like 2,000 in my bank. And I'm like a very, what is the word? Like I'm a very intense person. When I want something, I go for it. And I was like, I have 2,000. I don't know how this is going to work, but God, you know me. You couldn't have put this need in my heart if it wasn't for me. So if it's in me, it's for me. I'm going for it. I signed for the plan and I sold everything in my house to pay for that program. But I went through everything, every second of that program. I didn't get results, but I did all the work. I had my blocks and my problems. I did all the work. Then I paid $1,000 for 1 hour, and that was different. That was a different game. I had 60 minutes, and I made sure each of those minutes I used to the dot. In fact, 60 minutes after that call, I made 6,000. And 5 days later, I made about 28,000. And 3 months later, I made my first 6 figures. But of course, I bought his inner circle and I bought his other things. But really, I still give credit to my first 6 figures to that one phone call, which I paid $1,000 for. And that is really the principle of charging. The more you charge, I've really experienced this. Like the more people pay you, the more they come at a different level of commitment. The higher they pay you, the less problems and the more committed they get. The higher they pay, the more results they get. It's like when people spend a considerable amount of money, they now make that thing their priority. Like, okay, I've just coughed 30 grand to this thing. I really want to make it happen. No, I don't want to play or just make it another thing. I don't want to get busy. I'm clearing my schedule to do this thing. That's the magnitude of attention that you get from someone who's paid 30 grand or 50 or whatever the amount you desire to charge. Problem with charging really low is your life-altering work might not make as much contribution as you want it to make because of how much determination and willingness people meet you with. Doesn't matter how good of a coach you are. Really, it doesn't. It's a two-way street. Like the client has to meet you in the middle. And so if the client is meeting you at 20% and you're having the 80%, what happens to your confidence when no one is getting results? Anyhow, I thought I would just jump on and just leave the lesson here. That if you're underpriced, you're hurting your contribution and you're hurting your revenues and you're hurting the universe. You're reaping the universe of your gifts. Because there's a lot of things that come with undercharging and not a lot of them are really going to help. And if you are someone who struggles with this, maybe you even struggle with like wrapping your head around what you do and how to say it, because messaging goes beyond marketing. It goes beyond copy and really goes everywhere you go. So think about like you're in a networking session and you begin introducing yourselves and people are like, oh, okay. Have you been in networking sessions where like you spoke and people were like, okay. And then somebody else spoke and people were like, can I have your email? Can I email you? Can I message you? Can you put your contacts in the chat? What's the difference? Doesn't matter how many people you get in front of, if you are not saying the things that make, if you're not saying the right words, it doesn't matter. Because you will get in front of opportunities and people will be like, she seems like a nice person. But what you really want is for them to say, what's your email? What's your handle? I'd love to connect. I definitely need this service. I know somebody who needs this service. As opposed to, oh, okay, nice to meet you. This is the game of like really understanding your message in and out and being able to charge because of the dream that you can make possible for the person that you're in front of. It's not about going on another podcast and another podcast and another podcast. If you're saying things that don't move people, you could be in front of 1 million people and people will be like, oh, she seems like a nice person. But that's not what you really want for your contribution. What you want is to shift the universe and be a part of those that change lives. You want contribution. You want to be able to live a life that you want. Anyhow, if you are my beautiful, beautiful, best kept secret, you have a life-altering message, you have life-changing work, but you don't seem to understand why you're the best kept secret, there's going to be a lot in the container that we've opened on Skool. Messaging is the first part of it, but there is a lot that I have learned through the School of Hard Knocks. As really somebody that believes in God and believes in faith and has built this business just as I'm being led and called to. And I know a lot of struggles that you have because I have had them, because I've struggled through them. This is year 5. I'm just talking from all of those tears, frustrations, challenges. Gosh, it's been like a roller coaster. If you'd like to tag along, if you'd like to get your mission, your message, and turn it into revenue, really through contribution and impact, this is your community. This is your community. Today is Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So 3 days and we're opening doors. I don't know how many people are in the waiting room. Let me check. So there's 7 people on the inside and 27 people in pending. That makes 34 people. And minus me, that's like 33. So 33 people minus 100, that's 60, what? What's the math? 67. So 67 slots left. If you want to be grandfathered in that community for free and get me on the weekly calls, coaching you through this and more, now is your time. Now is your time to join. There is a pinned post on my profile. Click on that. There is a link that takes you to the community. And to express your interest, all you have to do is request to join. Request to join. There must be a question or two. Please answer them because I'll filter them. I don't have like a strong filter, but I just filter them to make sure that there's no one who is like, I don't know, bringing something like it's out of. I want the community to be for like really spiritual people who are trying to bring more peace in the world. They're trying to make the world a better place. You don't have to be spiritual, but it has to be like really contribution, impact, and really trying to help the world be a better place, if it makes sense. That's who I want in there. Request to join. I will personally be going live on Monday, 28th. I will be opening the community and getting people in the door and showing you on the inside. And hopefully by then, Hopefully by then we won't be 100. Otherwise, if we're 100, then it's flipped to paid. And who knows what it will cost. For mastermind container, I charge about 1,500 a month. That's a mastermind container with about 20, 25 people. One-on-one, that's another topic for another day. But I don't know, what will the community cost? Because I'll be doing weekly calls, which is an equivalent of a mastermind. And so I don't know. I don't know. Will I make it paid? Will I leave it free and then just create paid containers on the inside? I don't know. I feel into everything and I'll just see how I'm being led. But what I want to do is I really want to make it paid after 100 people. So it's a proper container with 100 people. We can serve those. I really love like small clients, deep impacts. Like I to really work with, if I worked with 10 people and took them deep, that gives me more joy than 1,000 people who have like surface level access to me. And so I really believe in small numbers. I believe in small containers and I believe in going deep with people. And so I really will have no hesitation closing the gates and putting the price as I feel led. And so if you are thinking, I want more of this, I'm a best kept secret, I definitely want a clear message, but I want more clients, I want more impact, I want more contribution. This is going to be the place you want to check out. And you can check it out for free today. As long as you're inside that community, you will always have that free access if you join now. And if you wait, no problem. You can wait for the party to boom and you can pay 4 figures to join every month. Like it's totally fine. Totally fine. What you can do from my rambling here, one is request to join. There's a pinned post in my profile here. But you can also take this conversation and begin to do it on your, I like to call them conversations that bank, when you get someone in a Zoom room and walk them through your program and how you can help them. I have a structure for that I call conversations at bank. You can put that in there and see how it shifts things for you. So instead of saying more joy, more peace, more fulfillment, begin to kind of walk through the pros and cons of if they did the work versus if they didn't, and like really help them come up with a list of like 10 things each. And show them what is possible with your guidance. What I find that it does, it really expands, because human beings really like expand. They elongate, they really expand, they have capacity. And so what happens for them is they may begin to kind of see how their dreams are coming to life, and the objection, I don't have money, I can't afford it, may start to flip otherwise, and people may find the money, because people find money for things they want. But they only find money or stretch for money when the dream is clear, when the gap is clear. In my first program, when I paid 20,000 for that program, I didn't have it. I really didn't have it. But the way the program was sold, it really enlarged my capacity. And I was able to go like, oh my God, if I can do that, my life will change. And I do not know what price I can put on that. So whatever it is that they're charging, I'm in. I didn't have the money. $20,000 is 96 million shillings. I didn't have the money. No one in my family had that money. No one in my clan had that money. I sold my bed, my fridge, my car, my sofas. Everything went to pay for that program because of how much conviction I had in the program when it comes to my dream. Like my dream from that program, or what they promised me or how they delivered it, was really so compelling that I wanted it, and I wanted it so bad that I didn't care if I didn't have the money. It expanded me to find the money. Can you see? And so you can give the same opportunity for your clients, because I know that your services are life-altering. And if people did the work, they would never be the same. So why allow them to stay so small and tell you they can't afford it? Because if they wanted to, they would. I love you. I'm sending you all of my love and light. I hope you found this helpful. And if you feel called to join the Best Kept Secret community, this is your invitation. There's a link in the pinned post. I hope to see you on the inside. Peace and love. Have a great day.